Hey, what's up YouTube? It's Josh, FJ55 Iron Pig. Been a little while since my last video, a little few and far in between. It's a little bit of an update on my AR-15. As you know, mine is for the most part, well, not so much stock, but it's not tactical. It's a defensive weapon, and a fun weapon, but a defensive weapon first and foremost. I still have not sighted in my TRS-32, haven't even been to the range yet, it's been a little while. Just been busy and making excuses, housework, mowing the lawn, my neighbors' lawns, the old ladies who really shouldn't be out there mowing it themselves, so I go and mow it for them. Don't do it for money, but they do bake some cakes every once in a while. Oh my, nothing better than an old lady baking a cake for you. It tastes so good. They've had all those decades of experience. But yeah, what I got for this, I'm of course at home during lunch, and today is the 8th or the 9th of March, I don't remember which one. Not too terribly important for this video, actually. But I have been looking at this company for a while. I like their bolt carrier groups. That's not what this is. But I can't really justify spending $80+ on a bolt carrier group right now. Would I like to? Absolutely. Will I? Yes, I will one day. Not just now. I really want it mostly so that I have a backup to the one I have in here for when it does eventually break. Because they all break eventually. Nothing's perfect. But the name of the company is Damage Industries Incorporated. First heard about them through James Yeager. You know, Yeager's been kind of odd lately, in my opinion. I'll just leave it at that. And they had a little discount going on. And I'd first heard about these guys a long time ago, and I'd forgotten all about them, to be honest. And that made me kind of sad. Damage Inc. is a lot like a handful of other companies out there that make products, period, but especially for firearms, that does a lot of their own millwork, believes in the tolerances, in the specs, the materials used, how you make it, your finished product, and the longevity and use of that product, how is it going to make the end user. It's not so much to make them happy, necessarily, it's to make them happy because the product is excellent and it actually improves what they're using it in. Now, Damage Inc., here's our sticker for you. There's a QR code if you want to snap that. Just go to Damage Industries, type it in Google, you'll find it. What I have here is the Enhanced Recoil Spring AR-15 Carbine version. They have two sizes, one for carbine, which is what I have, which means if you have an adjustable stock, this is the one you need. They also have one for a fixed stock, which is actually a little longer. You need to make sure you get the right one in it. It says it right there. Shipping on this spring came really quick. Week and a half, somewhere around there. It wasn't mandatory that it got here right away, so I wasn't really too concerned about how long it was going to take. But Damage Industries, they use a chrome silicone spring, and they actually use, I looked it up and I just had a brain fart on exactly what kind of steel, spring steel they're using. You can check their website, you'll see it. And there's other videos I'm sure on this as well. That's another thing, there's not a lot of videos on these springs. They're a good amount, but not saturated like Glock 19 or something like this. But check this out. See how it kind of looks like doingies for your boobs? Look how it just returns to itself. Now what we're going to do is we're going to remove the one I currently have in here, and this is the original. Actually, let's just take the whole upper off. This is actually the original that came with it. There's a DPMS Panther. Of course, here's your buffer tube if you're not familiar with this. You use your finger, the tip of a bullet, a nail, shell casing, anything that will reach in there. Now, this is just your normal steel. They're actually pretty close to the same. The original one's the shinier one here. And that's just a tad bit longer. That's okay, don't be worried about that. So check this out. I'm not doing that, it's kind of doing whatever it wants. And this is actually, this DPMS spring is better than most out there. As far as your standard mil spec comes with my gun. A lot of the ones when you shake it just goes wow, wow, wow. It just goes wild and everywhere and it's not very good. So let's try and get a comparison here. So we'll go up and down. See how it's kind of going on its own? The one that came with it? While the Damage Inc. is going straight up and down, up and down, up and down. Now if we do it the opposite way, that's not too bad. But what I'm trying to say is Damage Industries, with their spring, it is made for, well, it's in a horizontal position. It's made for lateral movement. So when you fire your gun, you know, it ejects the spent cartridge. As the bolt carrier group comes back, it's pushing down into this buffer spring tube, and it compresses the spring. With the higher quality springs, like this chrome silicone one, the compression is almost straight up and down. With these ones, and the cheaper ones that are out there, this is not a super cheap one, when you compress it, it goes down, but it also has a tendency to wobble. That's where you get a lot of that weird sound inside your buffer tube when you're shooting. For those of you who may have been wondering about that. This is more lateral, okay? Let me try and get a good example. So that would be lateral. With a bad one, it just kind of flops around in there. This will deaden the sound a little bit, but it's going to tighten your rifle up slightly. So, let's put this bad boy back together. You know what? Let's not put this back together. I want to do a sound comparison. I did not do that. So let's put the original in. Put the upper back on. There we go. So now I have it back on. So let's take a listen. It's kind of loud with the table. There's a good example for you. It's not too bad. Most of the noise, the loudest noise, is coming from the bolt carrier group sliding through here. But I don't know if it's showing up on camera or through the audio. You can hear it scratching and sliding in here. So let's remove the upper. Ooh, trim my fingernails, can't quite grab it. And man, that light on my cell phone is bright. There we go. Don't know why that one was being a bugger. So take out the old spring. This is still a good spring. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to put in the new spring, because just like Beastie Boys, it's the new style. Now it's back in. There. Throw the upper back on. Why is that pin giving me such a hard time? There we go. Back together. So let's take a listen. It has a deeper sound to it. It's not so much of a metal. It's metal and metal, but not a tinny kind of sound inside the buffer tube. Everything works. It's good. So yeah, that is the Damage Industries carbine length chrome silicone buffer spring. I highly recommend it. Price, good thing you asked. I got it for 50% off, so I bought two. With shipping, it was $16 and change. The shipping was more expensive than one of these. It was like $6.50, I think it was. Normally these are $10 or $10.95 a piece. Still, that's a really good price for a great spring. I highly recommend you go check them out. Once again, Damage Industries. They got other stuff there as well. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, as always, throw your comments, smart remarks, all of that right down below. You guys have a really good day and be safe out there.